What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. Teofimo Lopez, the WBO, IBF, and WBA champion at lightweight 135. He is also a franchise champion, WBC, even though the WBC wasn't supposed to make that belt transferable until Teofimo Lopez was about to fight Vasily Lomachenko. Basically, he's not officially recognized as the WBC champ at lightweight anymore, but he's got all the other belts, and it's really the WBC's fault for creating this very confusing situation, and they really have yet to officially clean it up on the record. So Teofimo Lopez believes, he's the undisputed champ with all the belts. Devin Haney is holding the regular and I guess official WBC belt. So there is one belt outstanding as it pertains to Teofimo Lopez defending against George Kambosos Jr. But this fight's about to take place at the Hulu Theater in New York City on November 27th. And I originally did a preview video breakdown on this fight when it was still supposed to be on a Triller card, and I thought that it would only be right with all the postponements, the positive COVID test for Teofimo Lopez, the changes in fight dates, several changes in fight dates, postponements, even a change in promotional rights. Now this one's gonna be aired on DAZN. So Teofimo Lopez has basically gone from, he's under Top Rank still, Bob Arum, ESPN, to Triller, now to DAZN under Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. So I thought that it would only be right to do a update video, not meant to be a whole breakdown. You can feel free to check out the one that I already released, but I wanted to give a fight week update basically, because so much time has passed since this was originally scheduled. So now that this fight is actually about to happen, we think at least, some things that I want to consider with Lopez versus Kambosos is, who does the time off impact more in a negative way? Also, Teofimo Lopez, for all the time that's passed, and last time we saw him in the ring, he wasn't yet a boxing superstar. He was a big underdog, really, against Vasily Lomachenko, where almost the entire boxing world thought that Lomachenko was going to win, whether it was via late stoppage or just a total outclassing and winning via unanimous decision. Most people thought that Vasily Lomachenko was going to take out the young, brash and exciting, athletic Teofimo Lopez. And, some wondered how much a loss to Lomachenko, depending on how discouraging or devastating it might be, how that might actually impact Teofimo Lopez's career. Well, he basically did the nearly unthinkable in winning a decision, because people who thought that Lopez might win thought that, if he just sparks him because he's got truly special punching power, that would be how he could beat Lomachenko, possibly. But that a decision win for Lopez, nobody was really thinking that. Well, that's exactly what ended up happening. A unanimous, close, but unanimous decision win for Lopez over Lomachenko. And when you couple that with his fight just before the Lomachenko fight, Teofimo Lopez, since his disappointing, decision win, but a very tough test against then unknown Masayoshi Nakatani, Teofimo Lopez has basically been on a 2-fight streak where each of those 2 fights have truly been life-changing. I mean, he won his IBF belt against Richard Comey in a shocking early knockout. We're talking a second-round TKO of then-champion Richard Comey, who has looked good since that loss to Teofimo Lopez. So he goes from that shocking knockout of Richard Comey to the even more shocking and boxing earth-shattering win over Vasily Lomachenko. How much does that back-to-back succession of life-changing performances alter your approach to the game? Basically, is Teofimo Lopez as all in today as he was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? He's had some time to soak in being boxing famous. Like, he's not an A-list celebrity, and he's not truly wealthy yet because he's been on that, Bob Arum type contract, but he is rich now. A lot richer than he was before he fought Richard Comey, let alone Vasily Lomachenko. But how much has the waking up in silk pajamas, as the late great Marvin Hagler used to put it, in terms of a fighter's hunger as it pertains to his net worth, how much has Teofimo Lopez's hunger been affected by the last two performances and then the time off after his most recent win over Lomachenko, which was now over a year ago, leading into today and this fight against Kambosos? Is there a chance at Teofimo Lopez overlooking George Kambosos and getting a little bit comfortable? Now, George Kambosos for a long time was pretty much known as, Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner. But then he started having higher profile fights and he started fighting out of Australia because it was basically Pacquiao's preparation for Jeff Horn, where they were really working together closely. And then George Kambosos started to have a couple fights in Las Vegas against Ray Perez, and then in England, most recently against Lee Selby in a very close fight. Lee Selby was 2 divisions up from when he was at his best. He's a former featherweight champion, and he was fighting Kambosos 2 divisions up at lightweight 135. And when I'm watching this fight on the Usyk versus Derek Chisora undercard, I'm thinking, damn, Lee Selby pretty much deserves to edge this decision win. Now, the audience is split on this. A lot of people thought that Kambosos deserved the decision. Some thought that Lee Selby deserved the decision. George Kambosos won a split decision over former featherweight champion Lee Selby, again, in England this time. So he's basically been getting out of the Australian bubble, been fighting on the road a lot more, which will be good preparation as he is about to be in this very high-profile fight against unified, but not undisputed, technically, unified champ Teofimo Lopez. So George Kambosos, he's a good fighter. He puts good combinations together. He's pretty nice going in and out of the pocket. Him and Lopez are about the same height. Kambosos is just a shade taller. Reaches are about the same. Slight edge to Teofimo Lopez. But I just have a tough time imagining George Kambosos beating somebody who hits so much harder than him. I mean so much harder than him. Teofimo Lopez has a type of power where he could just spark you once and you just got a shockwave from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. Ask Richard Comey, ask Diego Magdaleno. I mean, these are guys who just got short-circuited against Teofimo Lopez. And, one of the reasons why Vasily Lomachenko has such a tough time with Lopez is because, well, one, you could say that he was coming off a lot of inactivity, shoulder surgery, shoulder issues, and possibly just respecting his power way too much to really get involved in too many exchanges early on. It's almost like Vasily Lomachenko was willing to forego some of the early rounds, and Teofimo Lopez basically built up an early lead against Lomachenko. But if it weren't for Teofimo Lopez's straight up scary power, he would have never gotten that much respect early. We've seen how Vasily Lomachenko usually treats opponents. Even in his last fight against a very dangerous and tough, rugged, durable Nakatani, look at how Lomachenko approached that fight, especially in close quarters. Brilliant game plan, by the way, exercised by Lomachenko against Nakatani. But Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos just begs the question, what is Kambosos going to do to win rounds? Yes, he's got good hand speed. I can't say he's got faster hands than Teofimo Lopez. I'd have to favor Lopez in the hand speed department, certainly in the punching power department, in the big fights experience department as well. You got to favor Teofimo Lopez, even though he hasn't really had to go too deep into fights often. I mean, with the exception of the Lomachenko going the full 12 and the Nakatani going the full 12. The only other times he was going the distance were like a few years ago when he was fighting 6-rounders. So usually Teofimo Lopez is closing the show. And if you look at George Kambosos' style of fighting, he needs to mix it up and get involved in a lot of exchanges where he might exercise the slightly faster hands like he did against Lee Selby, or just sustain pressure like he was able to exercise against Mickey Bay. Well, how is sustained pressure going to work out for you when you're fighting a guy who's as devastating a counterpuncher with both hands as Teofimo Lopez? I've seen Teofimo Lopez knock Magdaleno out with the left hook. I've seen him knock Richard Comey out, or at least put him down to start the knockout with the straight right hand. So, like, if you're playing Russian roulette with Lopez in the way that Kambosos is going to have to, at least in order to win rounds, how long are you going to be able to do this for before Lopez sends those electrical sparks through your body with 1 or 2 punches? For as good as George Kambosos is as a well-rounded fighter, I just don't see how, unless Teofimo Lopez has totally taken his eye off the ball, training-wise, preparation-wise, hunger-wise, unless Teofimo Lopez, for whatever reason, is no longer the Teofimo Lopez that we've been seeing working up the ranks and winning a title and then winning multiple titles within his first 15 to 16 professional fights, unless this isn't the same Teofimo Lopez, I just have trouble picturing Kambosos winning rounds or even continuing to be competitive in rounds without eventually getting hurt badly by Teofimo Lopez. So when I first was doing the breakdown video and prediction, I predicted, hey, I think that because of a lack of, even a slight lack of focus, and because of the incentive for George Kambosos to perform well here, I think George Kambosos is going to go the distance. That's what I was saying with that initial preview. But under further review, just thinking about this fight more and with more time having passed, I just have trouble seeing Kambosos get involved in a ton of exchanges against Teofimo Lopez without getting dropped and eventually stopped. Especially because we've seen how well Teofimo Lopez was able to manage the rounds against Vasily Lomachenko and still be tough and dangerous late, where he pulled out that much-needed 12th round against Lomachenko in a fight that Lomachenko was rallying big time in the second half of the fight. Like, I think that the only way that Kambosos goes the distance is if he starts to fight a totally survivalist type of fight. Think Adrian Broner versus Mikey Garcia, or Shane Mosley against Manny Pacquiao, where you're basically saying, okay, I've given up the desire to actually put my foot on the gas and try to win this fight round over round or by stoppage, and I'm just going to try to make it out of here walking out of the ring as opposed to getting carried out of the ring, basically. So unless Kambosos switches into that mode, I don't see any way that he not only wins against Teofimo Lopez, but goes a 12-round distance versus Lopez. Again, especially if Lopez is as sharp as we've seen him, because he's a true sharpshooter. Yes, he will indulge in a few exchanges, and yes, he can control range to a good degree, as he did against Lomachenko, and eventually, let's be real, made the adjustments needed to win the fight against Nakatani, a much taller fighter. Nakatani's damn near 6 feet. Lopez is 5'8", and he did do what he had to do to win a decision against Nakatani. But at the core, Lopez is just waiting for the right opportunity, and he's looking for the right cues from his opponent to pull his trigger on one of his power punches. I mean, he's just too perceptive, in my opinion, to let George Kambosos' necessary entries into the pocket without going checked by a devastating power punch. So I'm actually going to go Teofimo Lopez via stoppage. I don't know whether it's going to occur early, middle, or late rounds, but I don't think that this one is going to go the full 12. The question is, if Lopez wins against Kambosos, does he try to lock in a fight against Josh Taylor, assuming Josh Taylor wins against his mandatory challenger, Jack Catterall? Or does Teofimo Lopez work out a cross-promotional fight against Devin Haney to truly secure the WBC belt? Or against Gervonta Davis, who has one of the weirder fight-by-fight opponent selections in the game right now. It's really odd. Up to 140, then he was about to go against Raleigh Romero. Now Isaac Cruz is the late replacement there. But yeah, where is Teofimo Lopez going to go from this point? Is he going to try to secure something truly big? And it doesn't sound like he's going to stick around at 135 for too long. He has plans on going up to 140. But I just wonder if he is going to try to truly clean house at 135. Not by beating all the top guys. Like, he doesn't have to beat Gervonta Davis to clean house, technically, in terms of your belt holders. But he does need to fight Devin Haney, assuming Devin Haney wins his upcoming fight against Jojo Diaz, to truly become undisputed in the division. Again, some feel that he's already done that, and there is an argument to be made there. But to truly become undisputed at 135, is he going to take that final step in fighting Devin Haney after he beats George Kambosos Jr.? But yeah, let me know what you think about Lopez versus Kambosos. I'm just glad that this fight's finally gonna happen so we can eventually move on. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.